Some Sentences, 170 Sonnets by Gilchrist Haas. First Junana, Sonnets 1 through 17. Some sentences for free, or pounding pavements. Ain't no question that hasn't yet been asked. This proposition just occurred to me. A challenge with which we moderns are tasked, to confound AI and Chat GPT with queries that have never yet been voiced. Just give it a shot. I doubt you'll do it. Are the moons of Jupiter dry or moist? I don't know, and I cannot intuit. I'd say the world is ripe for better statements, and after all, they make for better trade. My questions only lead to pounding pavements. I've asked a ton, but never gotten paid. But I am wont to waive my poet's fee, so here they are, some sentences for free. Our world through song. We explain the world to ourselves through song. The explanations help us get along, although at times we know we get them wrong. We register the world in melodies that soar above our troubles and their trees. We slow march duples, then we waltz in threes. We vivify our world through piping tunes. Wherever Jagger or Fitzgerald croons, the clouds are prinked with colorful balloons. Through song we organize our world of sound and sonify our space from sky to ground, our home, our womb, our grave, our lost and found. And what we know through song is all we'll know from when we come until the time we go. In my carafe. Throughout my life I've had a lot of fun. I've often thought that this has been the point that I'm supposed to learn beneath our sun and upon this astrophysical joint that we call Earth, the Japanese Chikyu. I'm here to experience life as joy and encourage others to say thank you to both the cosmos and the cosmic Roy for permitting life to giggle a bit and to let down its hair from time to time. Gaia needs must bounce and jiggle a tit to suckle titans born of Uranus's slime. And precisely such a vision makes me laugh. Let's see what else I've got in my carafe. Tit for tat, or like Garbo and Ali. We all must free ourselves from this or that. It's part of what we call being human. Freedom and duty battling tit for tat from Socrates to Alfred E. Newman. History is a fight for the former and its enlargement over the latter. From pies stolen by little Jack Horner to the crazy whims of the Mad Hatter. And Kant was moved to write his 3 critiques, inserting himself as referee between brash moderns and stodgy antiques, so Aufklärung could get on merrily, and through our duties we could all be free to pout like Garbo or box like Ali. Words bound up in a skein. Poetry is for when the mind relaxes. We unravel words bound up in a skein of today's challenges, triumphs, and snags. The finer poets rarely wield axes, except when, in a satirical vein, they play the role of societal wags, take the verse to protest the king's taxes, tell Parliament to stay in its own lane, dilate scathingly on how culture lags behind science in the mins and maxes of its stalled accomplishments, to be plain, as it senesces in its forlorn rags. This image I've borrowed from good old Jack, last sentence of On the Road, looking back. Invitation to a blank slate visit, or ciphered down to null. I ain't got no thoughts in my head just now. At times my mind's a tabula rasa. But it's cozy today behind my brow, so come on in. Mi casa es su casa. We'll have a chat and drink a cup of wine. I'll tell you all I know about Spinoza, and you'll deliver your advice on ants. For lunch I'll steam up some mean gyoza. We'll pile my moldered thoughts in stacks with twine, or bury them as mulch beneath some plants, so choicer fruit will cluster on the vine. We'll end the visit with a cheery dance. and I'll reciprocate when your brain's dull, and when all your symbols have ciphered down to null. Funny signs, funnier lines, or you fucka Trump. The Japanese word for sick is byoki, one of their several sick-sounding words. Today, indeed, I'm feeling rather pukey. I'm not at my piano pounding thirds, nor am I striving to channel Spencer, Sappho, Lipo, Rabelais, or Camus. I'm resting near my Advil dispenser, thinking of something to think, say, or do. The No Kings rallies served up quite a dish. I watched them from my television stump. The marchers brandished many funny signs, some underscored with yet funnier lines. One drew Trump like the famed Hawaiian fish. Humu humu nuku nuku, you fucka Trump. Daily Wordle. Lots you can do when your mind is empty. It's good at times to give your brain a rest and put the brake on thoughts peremptory. Your best laid plans will not be second-guessed, and nor will you forget your umbrella as your mind descends from weightier stuff. You won't mistake the shoe polish for the Nutella, effect for affect, Macbeth for Macduff. Most recently, I owe the New York Times a round of thanks for their daily wordle as a break from this Matterhorn of rhymes I need to surmount like Yertle the Turtle. Yesterday, my entry word was adieu. I correctly grabbed ideal as guess number 2. Plantar fasciitis. Damn fascists, now they're attacking my feet. Yes, I'm down and out with plantar fasciitis. Everything is great, my life is complete, yet my feet are breaking down as if to spite this. Nobody ever plans on getting old. We seldom really know what we're in for. Wisdom will come with years, or so we're told. Life seems like exiting through the inn door. As soon as we enter, we age right back out, as in the tale of Benjamin Button. Our kids wonder what we're raging about. They'll know soon enough, all of a sudden, when the pain creeps in from the toes to the sole, which these ice pads are only supposed to dull. Something else. I often ponder where they'll send me next, in my next incarnation, that's to say. Will they shoot me into that starry text light centuries beyond the Milky Way to help some new cerebral cortex race, or consign me once more to Mother Earth? And what shall be the contours of my face, the precise coordinates of my birth? Will I have these self-same eyes and nose? And whom will I be predestined to love? Will she spring from Dodona or out of a hose? Will we blend or part when push comes to shove? Yes, the afterlife may seem like pure conceit, but somewhere, as something else, we're bound to repeat. Promise to angels, or odd man out. Angels, I'm taking care of the vessel. Just trust that I'll return it in good shape. I'd say your greatest bane must be to wrestle mortals always attempting to escape the drudgery of maintenance and self-care necessitated through inspiriting clay. We clamor for the high life of Bel Air, yet disregard the stench of pure decay that billows up through cracks in the facade when flesh begins to rot as we get rich. Of course, we always out the man who's odd. That's me. I'm steering clear. I've found my niche. Dear angels, I will give it back when asked, this vessel and its care with which I'm tasked. The benefits of being overheard. To write a poem, you overhear yourself. You drop a microphone beneath your eaves and shrink yourself down to your inner elf. Ignore him while he silently retrieves from all the clutter in your frontal lobe the choicer specimens of random thought that float around that hemispheric globe when seamic spools unravel, slack, untaught. A mini you, this puckish little gnome, who often obfuscates your day's affairs. You sometimes will forget that he's your own as he stacks up the nooks and hidden lairs with mounds from which you'll snatch the choicest word. We benefit from being overheard. Journey to Circadia, or this livelong day. All right, brother, now take a little rest. You've had enough to do this livelong day. The kitchen is clean, and gone is the guest who left your basement tools in disarray. Now promptly go upstairs and hit the sack. There's nothing left to think or do or say. Your angels and your wife all have your back. Your good deeds shall absolve your need to pray. Just settle in and close your weary lids. Enjoy your journey to Circadia. You'll sport with nude and buxom caryatids and stately undamasked palladia. I'll greet you on the other side of dawn. We'll drink some morning joe out on the lawn. Crafty écriture. I'll add these to the world's entertainments. They'll be made available for streaming or download directly into the brain. An AI will flesh out a scene for each and deck each out in suitable raiments to clothe the sprites with which each one is teeming. The visuals will make their meanings plain. This technology must be within reach. My folks will receive posthumous payments. It will be a family redeeming for the poverty of poetic pain suffered by those who plunder thought and speech as they carve out their crafty écriture, hoping at least some of it will endure. Energia. Today I'm lacking in energia and falling short of my full potential. YouTube's a lazy man's panacea, which I'm sure he'd find self-evidential. That's to say, I'm sure that Aristotle would warn young Alexander against it if they floated their ghosts in a bottle to modern shores. For years we've all sensed it, this feeling that the internet's no good for the maintenance of contact, human physical contact with other humans, maybe also with spiritual Newmans, who are there to obscure and illumine all that to us remains misunderstood. Thrown for a sunken arse. Nostalgia indicates that one has stalled. Not all the time, but sometimes this is true. Last time I brought this up, a friend was galled to think that memories had made him blue and, dwelling on them, dull and inactive. I told him he should focus on what lies ahead, that this would be more impactive. Yes, I'm aware that impactive flies against the hegemonic impactful as the more commonly heard of the pair. But F. Scott used it, and he was tactful in his word choice, in fact, beyond compare. And that reminds me of Trump's Gatsby farce, some ballroom glitz and a throne for his sunken arse. Our era wrapped up in a single sentence. Our era is one of commentary, meaning humanity's taking a rest from anything but complimentary afterthoughts, follow-ups, and addenda on problems that were already addressed by a previous era's agenda, one more motored by actions than our own. Which isn't to say that we're doing squat, but rather that our ambition has flown from questioning what is and what is not expedient to human furtherance, to keeping the world safe for human growth, and atoning for our impertinence that stems from greed or ignorance, or both. And that was the first Junana of Some Sentences, 170 Sonnets by Gilchrist Haas.